Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. So day 10 is going to take us to around the 1st of September, can you believe, into the first day of September and meteorological autumn. Yeah, we're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. We'll be able to extend out beyond day 10 with the extended GFS and ECL ensembles running to around a couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at SEV-FV2 at the end of video for the next 4 weeks. That'll take us into the latter stages of September. We'll bring you update what's happening in the tropical Atlantic, and yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting look ahead. Just say weekend forecast has been released, so your weekend look ahead has been released, and that's looking detailed weather for the next 7 days. And then coming up later on, we're going to have the update for the bank holiday weekend. So that's covered by weekend forecast as well, but we'll be looking at the bank holiday weekend in detail for you tonight. That's update number 4 for the bank holiday weekend, not sure. Right, let's get on with it then. So just to say that I've got a poll running on the community page at YouTube, at GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel. We're asking which of these two choices would you like to see for Bank Holiday Monday's historic video. I'm going to keep this open until like end of tomorrow. Monday we'll have to know what we're doing, so you've got a little while to vote, but it's very, very close. The two choices are autumn winter 2013-2014. That's where it didn't stop raining throughout the entire winter. And we've got autumn and winter 1993-1994. That's a cold autumn and a not particularly cold winter. But both of those are at 50%. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it'd be quite close. I wasn't expecting it to be that close. So at the moment we've got like a tie, 50% for both choices. So I say I'm going to keep this open until the end of tomorrow. If this is still Tybo by the end of tomorrow, then what we're going to have to do is put both choices into a bag, and Mrs. P will appear in a video, and we'll have to pull out one of the years. I know one or two viewers suggested I do both, but I just don't have time to do 2 historic videos. They do take a long time to get together, the historic weather videos, to do them at a standard that I like to do them to. So I haven't got time to do that. I'm going to have an autumn forecast to get together for next weekend as well. So I just won't have time to do 2 historic web videos. So it does have to be one or the other. So if it's still tied by the end of Sunday, then what's going to happen is that there'll be a little video just lasting a minute or two appearing on Monday on the channel where Mrs. P draws out one of the years out of the bag, and that will be the year that will go, because there's no other way of doing it if you've got 2 choices and they're both tied. But I've still got a little while to go. I'm going to keep this open until the end of tomorrow, so you've still got some time. You still got some time to vote on this. So whichever one you want, get voting. It's very, very close. 112 votes so far. It is really, really close, this. And yeah, so just get voting if there's one of those 2 that you really would like to see. But in this particular poll, every single vote is going to count because it is so very close. Right then, so let's move on with the video then. So let's talk you about that. So this is what's going on in the tropical Atlantic. We've got 3 disturbance areas in the tropical Atlantic. We've got this yellow X just here over towards the coast of Africa. We've got tropical storm Laura just there. We've got tropical storm Marco. Tropical storm Marco has developed just there. Let's deal with the disturbance area first of all. Then we'll look at 2 tropical storms. So we've got disturbance 1, which has a 10% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, and a 10% chance of cyclone formation in the next 5 days. Low chances both. Then we've got Marco. So let's deal with Marco. We've got tropical storm Marco just here. That is currently giving maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour with a minimum set pressure of 1,002 millibars, moving north-northwestwards at 12 miles per hour. If we click on Marco and go to wind, cone and static images, we can see that Marco is now not being forecast to reach hurricane status. Yesterday, National Hurricane Center was forecasting Marco to reach hurricane status through the Gulf of Mexico. Now it's being kept as a tropical storm, still with a direct impact though on the Gulf Coast, of Texas. So still smashing into the Gulf Coast of Texas around the middle part of the week, but not as a Category 1 hurricane now, as a tropical storm. And then, of course, we also have Tropical Storm Laura just here. We've got Tropical Storm Laura just there. Let's click on Laura, see what's going on with Laura. So, getting maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour and minimum sensitive pressure of 1,006 millibars, moving west at 21 miles per hour. Let's click on Laura and see what Laura is forecast to do. So Laura is still being forecast to be a short-lived Category 1 hurricane at the moment. Tropical storm just there. Going to move through the Caribbean into Cuba over the weekend, the beginning of next week, and then into the Gulf of Mexico, where it is still forecast to power up to a Category 1 hurricane through the middle of next week, and then making landfall somewhere between the Texas and Alabama Gulf Coast, somewhere between there is where it's forecast to make landfall, with a central sort of projection of hitting Louisiana, probably. So yeah, I mean, still two big impacts coming for the Gulf Coast. One tropical storm, one possible hurricane still, Laura and Marco. We should wait and see how it all develops and plays out over the next few days. Sanctioning temperature looks like this. So the CET currently stands at 19.0. 19.0 is where the CET is currently standing. That's 3.1 degrees above average, 3 degrees above average, provisional to the 21st. Provisional to the 21st yesterday. So around 3 degrees above average. It's been a very hot August, of course. CET is coming down. And where this finishes is going to be really interesting to see. Just on the cusp of being under 18 degrees. I was looking at the CET thread at the Weather Outlook Forum. Do check out Weather Outlook Forum and the CET thread there. Simon, aka Global Warming, has got a projection for August CET now at 17.9, a central projection of 17.9. Now, obviously, it could be a little bit above or a little bit below that, so anything like 17.7 to sort of 18.2, I suppose, is kind of possible. But the central projection now, based on the temperature, the daily temperature, maximum minimum temperatures being forecast by, I think, the GFS, is 17.9. So just under an 18 Celsius CET August. But it's going to be quite exciting to see where this finishes up. If we have that very hot last day of July, we have that really hot last day of July where the temperature at Heathrow got to 37 degrees. If we'd had that on the 1st of August, then there would have been no problem at all getting an 18 Celsius CET August. Just because that very hot day happened to be on the 31st of July rather than the 1st of August. But it's going to be very exciting to see where this finishes up, and of course we'll know by September the 1st where we have finished up with the CET. It is going to be cool and unsettled in the closing days of August, and we can see that on the 500 millibar height on the flowchart. So we've got the ECMWF on the top, and the GFS is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in the atmosphere, high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. You can see that with the ECM, we've got this area of below average heights over the UK and across northern parts of Europe as well. It's also an area below average heights towards Newfoundland. Jet stream is being pushed southwards. The jet stream is being pushed southwards. So yes, just an unsettled and cool looking signal really as we're going into the 7 to 10 day time frame. This does take us to the beginning of August. Day 10, I think, going to be the 1st of August. So we're on the cool side of jet stream. We're under a trough of low pressure covering much of northern Europe. It does look cool and unsettled. There's an area of above average heights up towards Greenland, and the jet stream is pushed quite a long way southwards. The GFS is very similar The GFS is very similar, with an area of below average heights extending through Western Europe and out into the Atlantic as well. There's an area of above average heights up towards Scandinavia, between sort of Norway and Iceland. So again, the jet stream is pushed southwards a little bit like that. So cool and unsettled with both of these as we're going into a 7 to 10 day time frame, taking us to the end of August and the beginning of September. Both of them are looking cool and unsettled. GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks are looking like this. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London from old wetter central today. So you can see that we're going to be generally cooler now. There are a few little upticks going on. So there's one there like through the early part of next week, but it's associated quite a deep area of low pressure. There's another one there sort of around the 1st of September. But generally now, the upper air temperatures are slightly below average right way through the rest of August into the start of September. So it does look quite cool from an upper air temperature perspective. Remember, the sun does have quite a bit of warmth to it. So when the sun is out, it will feel relatively warm still when the sun is out, but on the other hand, when it's pouring with rain, actually this time of year can start to feel very, very autumnal when it's overcast and pouring with rain. We'll have a few of those days coming up. Generally, it does look a bit cool now. So I think as we go towards the end of this coming week, we'll notice it more because we'll start to get colder nights creeping in. At the moment, the minimum temperatures are still holding up, even though the upper air temperatures are a bit on the cool side, and that's happening because it's quite windy and showery at the moment. But as we get through to the end of this coming week and into the bank holiday weekend, we're probably going to build in a ridge, and that will allow temperatures by night to start falling away as well. So you've been finding the nights a bit too warm recently. We have had some very warm nights, even after the heat wave has ended. The minimum night temperatures are still holding up quite high. If you've been finding them a bit too warm, then by the end of this coming week, nights are going to be cooling down a lot. That brings the CT down very quickly, by the way, when you start getting cold nights and rather cool days as well. Into the first week of September, the upper air temperature look around average, really. So not a particularly big deviation either way. Precipitation-wise, there's quite a bit of dry weather coming up over the next few days, but then as we go on through the last week of August into the first week of September, it looks quite unsettled with sort of regular precipitation spikes. There's sort of two bouts of rain that are showing up there. One around Tuesday through to Wednesday, and then one sometime through the bank holiday weekend. We could have another spell through the bank holiday weekend, and then after that it just looks rather unsettled really through the first week of September as well. Temperature anomalies on the 22nd of August to the 30th of August going to be a bit below average, slightly cooler than average temperature anomalies 22nd to 30th of August. Precipitation anomalies 22nd to 30th of August, wetter than average for central and northern parts, actually near normal down in the south. This is how the latest wind flow map is looking from earthnullschool.net. So you can see we are basically still under low pressure today. We're bringing in westerly winds from off the Atlantic, and we've got this area of low pressure to the north of Scotland. Winds in from the west, not particularly cold air coming in from the west at the moment, but later on in the week we will start to see these northerly winds trying to push down towards us later in the week. So as we get towards bank holiday weekend, those northerly winds are going to start to move our way, I think, and that will probably start to accelerate the drop in temperature as we come towards the end of August. That's how the UK Met is looking for Tuesday. A deepening area of low pressure out in the Atlantic on Tuesday. We've got a deepening area of low pressure out in the Atlantic on Tuesday. Promises a really wet and windy day on Tuesday. Look at that. Wednesday. Great big dartboard low, 990 millibars, centred right over top of the UK. Wet and windy, very wet and windy through the middle part of next week. Thursday through to Friday takes that low pressure away to the east, raises heights out to the north and the west. So temperatures will start to lower. Temperatures will start to fall into the second half of the next week as winds begin to turn into the north, and it stays unsettled. And this low pressure just here to our south could threaten another spell of really quite wet weather across more southern areas. Look at the GFS. That's the GFS of Tuesday. That low is really winding itself up, moving into Ireland. Turns very wet and windy through the middle part of next week. Then that low pressure gets out of the way and leaves us in this sort of cool and showery northerly wind into the second half of next week. There it looks like there's a cold front dropping south as well, Thursday through to Friday. That could have some heavy rain on it. And then it turns colder from the north, or cooler from the north. And so, yes, it does look as though we're going to Bank Holiday weekend on quite a cool note. We bring a ridge in from off the Atlantic, so we will lose the rain over Bank Holiday weekend. But this is where those cold nights come in. But will probably scupper the 18 Celsius CT August. I think it will be the cold nights that we get over Bank Holiday weekend that will scupper it. Because under that ridge, we've introduced an air mass from the north. We're under a ridge of high pressure. Nights are rapidly lengthening now, and so it will turn increasingly cool by night, with temperatures falling away into single digits. Heading up towards day 10, that ridge very quickly moves away. So as we come to the end of Bank Holiday weekend into start of September, we're moving low pressure back in from off the Atlantic. It's turning increasingly unsettled once again. And then as we move on into like the extended range, we're going to have high pressure to our south, low pressure is to our north, and we're going to have showers or longer spells of rain through many parts of the country. Eventually, though, we get to the very end of this GFS run, which is Monday the 7th of August. We get to the very end of it and we start to pull up some warmth from the south. It begins to turn a little bit drier, and it begins to turn a little bit warmer as well, as winds begin to push up from more of a southerly direction with the upper air temperature. You can see that, yes, we have got warmth beginning to move northwards with those upper air temperatures. So a little bit warm by the end of the first week of September. But of course, that is a very, very long way off. This is how the GM is looking. Again, low pressure coming in off the Atlantic on Tuesday. Probably wet and windy spell for the middle part of the week. Low pressure clears away to the east Thursday to Friday. Winds turn into the north. It turns increasingly cool and showery from the north. Heading up towards the end of this GM run, the ridge of high pressure is over and slightly to the east of the country. It's turning dry across most parts of the country, but it will be turning cooler, particularly so at night under that ridge of high pressure by day 10, which is Tuesday the 1st of September. Again, the ridge is around the country. Low pressure out to our west, high pressure is to our east, and there should be a reasonable amount of dry weather, and possibly as winds begin to pull in from like more of an easty direction, it could start to get a little bit warmer as well. The ECM looks like that. So again, low pressure is out to our west on Tuesday. That's bringing another spell of very wet and windy weather across the country. That low pressure moves through the country, clears away to the east. Winds turn into the north and northeast, turning increasingly wet and windy through the middle part of the week. To the second half of the week, we start to we keep it unsettled. We start to build some heights out to the north and west, but actually we've got low pressure still very close to the country with further showers, if not long spells of rain under that low. The low clears away to the east on Saturday. Winds turning to the north. That brings more showers into the north and to the east too. As we go through into Sunday and on into Monday, we've just got this little ridge across the country with quite a bit of dry weather, but it will be cold under that ridge, especially so at night. By the time we get through to day 10, we saw it on the 500 millibar high dolly flow chart, 1st September. The low pressure is coming back in from off the Atlantic, cool and unsettled for the first day, or cool and wet for the first day of September. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from TibetShow.com. So lots of showers and longer spells of rain coming and going really over the next few days. And then we have this deluge coming up. What can only be described as a deluge coming up Tuesday through to Wednesday, with further showers or longer spells of rain into the second half of next week. Into Bank Holiday weekend, it dries out, but it will be quite cool. And then as we move up towards day 10, more low pressure and wet weather is coming in from off the Atlantic. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which is the which is the 1st of September. We have 15 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure up to our northwest and to our southwest. Low pressures to our east and to our west. Winds are coming in from off the Atlantic rather like that. Then we have 11 members of the east ensemble with a deep trough of low pressure over top of the country. So very wet with that one, very unsettled. That does include the operational run as well. We have 9 with low pressure to our north, high pressure ridging into the south. So that's going to be a drier, warmer option, especially so more southern areas. 8 with a ridge extending from Scandinavia to the Azores. Should be quite a bit of dry weather with that. And then another 8 with a deep area of low pressure over top of the country, high pressure up towards Greenland. That is going to be obviously cool and unsettled. So quite a few options, and it is rather uncertain, I think, which way this is going. So we've got 11 just here and 8 just there that are very, very unsettled. We've got 8 just here and 8 just there, but are much more anticyclonic. And the 15 just here could go either way, really. They could go either way there. So it does remain to be seen. And in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 6th of September. We have 16 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our west and ridging through to our east as well. 15 just here with high pressure out to our west-northwest. 11 with low pressure over top of the country. And 9 with high pressure over the country. That, again, going to be reasonably dry. I think by 2 weeks out, which is 6th of September, possibly the ECM ensembles are shifting more towards settled weather. Finally, the CFS V2, these are 500 millibar heights. They're broken down into weekly periods. The first week period takes us from the 22nd to 28th of August. The coming week we'll have low pressure below average heights over UK and across northern Europe. High pressure is up towards Greenland. The jet stream is pushed southwards as well. Jet stream is pushed southwards. So looking very unsettled there with those with that in weekend. We go through to week 2, which is 29th of August, 4th of September. Low pressure again is to our east, high pressure is to our west. Jet stream wind flow doing something a little bit like that. So again, cool and unsettled really, but we have got a bit of a ridge trying to build in from the southwest, but generally a cool and quite unsettled start to September looks likely there. Week 3 is the 5th through to the 11th of September with low pressure to our north going into Scandinavia, winds in from a westerly direction. Going to be quite unsettled and pretty cool with that one. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 12th to the 18th of September. Low pressure again is to our north, high pressure is out to our west. Winds are in from a northwest southeast trajectory. Again, looks rather cool, I have to say. This could be showing up to be a rather cool September that we've got looming here, with high pressure regularly out to our west, low pressure to our north and northeast. It's all speculation, of course. It's all speculative. Any forecast beyond 5-7 days is fraught with danger, but the signs are there. We saw it in Germany Friday yesterday. The signs are there that this could be quite a coolish September that's setting up, but we shall see about that. The more immediate sort of time frame, a more reliable time frame, is focusing on very unsettled conditions through next week, turning drier but quite cool over bank holiday weekend. And then we're waiting to see where we go through the first week of September. Right, we'll be back later on with a detailed look at the bank holiday weekend, Friday through to Monday, so come back for that. Then tomorrow we're going to start off with the final autumn analogues update, so that'll be the first video up. We're going to do the penultimate GavsWeatherVids Sunday roundup, and there's going to be E70F Metro France and D2D long range update tomorrow as well. And we shall also be live streaming from 6 o'clock. In the live stream, we'll look at some winter 2020-21 data. I'm quite sure we will. So, very busy day coming up tomorrow, but we have got bank holiday weekend update for you this evening. For this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.